qualifiers. I'm really joined by Dust, and we're going to be jumping into the second match now. It's going to be more Frenchmen, but this time Team EnVyUs, and they're up against HellRaisers, who have been through the gauntlet, I think it's safe to say, over this last few weeks. They've got Woxic and Issa who are in, and many people would honestly say that this is quite a rough change for them, losing Stiko in particular. Where do you come down with this, Dust? Would you agree, or do you think this team has a bunch of potential?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that Angel was also halfway out the door, wasn't he? I mean, he was on his way to Na'Vi, and I think that it's a tough pill for him to swallow, that he was almost on his way to the best team in his region and like maybe a true international contender, back to being with this team that outside of a really good finish at Star Ladder hasn't really been the best, has it? Like, they've really struggled at the majors in particular, between E-League and PGL. So they've done okay here and there at some of the DreamHack Open events. So it was just going to be a huge step up in his career. And he's not a young guy, right? So, I mean, that would have been a big move for him to be on a team like that. And he certainly proved his worth in that regard as being like this, you know, effective entry fragger slash in-game leader combo. So I think that certainly has to hurt for him. As far as the team overall, though, I mean, Woxic, I mean, I see a lot of hype around him, like, from the community. Like, I've never really seen him play. I think most of his hype comes from, like, FPL and, like, playing on smaller stuff, like, you know, Mountain Dew League and whatnot. So, you know, if he can step up to the plate and higher level competition, and then Issa, like, I know him obviously from Spotnet, you know, when he used to play at the Asian Minor, and he was like one of the guys on that team that did look individually pretty skilled. So, I mean, if these two players pan out, there's still hope for HellRaisers, I suppose, but it certainly is going to take them a few steps back in the short term, you have to imagine, with all the changes they've made.
Absolutely. I guess there's a lot of unknowns and like variables in play for HellRaisers, so it's a case of just seeing sort of what comes to fruition, I guess. But EnVyUs, a team that notorious for being fairly inconsistent, sometimes don't really reach the levels that you expect of them. RPK, though, the tag with 3, one taps and looking for a 4th. It's not going to happen, but single-handedly takes this round away from HellRaisers. Great performance by him, and I'll be hoping there's much more to come.
Yeah, that was a pretty quick and easy hold for EnVyUs. There really wasn't a whole hell of a lot coming out of HellRaisers there. Not even many frags coming out. Just one out of Issa. Everyone else was pretty well met. The hat trick from RPK. Sixer and Happy sprinkled into it here. As we go into the second round, we are going to see armor and upgraded pistols. Some utility coming out as well. Even though they didn't get a bomb plant, you actually see Angel and Dead Fox, obviously, he's looking to get an AWP early, being a bit more reserved on what they've purchased. We'll see. Looks like they want to go for something faster pace over towards the A side, but RPK's playing aggressive inside A lobby and doing a lot of damage and really holding HellRaisers off at the pass. They can't even make it into A main yet.
He's got Happy behind him as well with another MP9. Lots of firepower, especially when there's lack of armor on a couple of these players. Angel, Dead Fox, both without armor. No head armor on Woxic either. Bomb outside of A, just outside of the squeaky door. Was centralized by HellRaisers for the time being, just trying to bide their time, see if they can get a pick on some of these EnVyUs players. But judging from the early confrontations and the positions of EnVyUs, this is looking pretty solid. I think that, you know, you're gonna have to start to see some 1Ds land before HellRaisers have any chance at bridging their way into one of these sides.
Yeah, and HellRaisers have to kind of shift their focus to middle since they lost A main and they weren't able to really reclaim it. At least they know that if they're going to double focus up on A main, that mid must have a little bit of an open window. They'd be correct. Screamy kind of just passively holding it from CT spawn, and there's only one at B, so HellRaisers have done well to kind of read the round and understand where EnVyUs are playing from and finding kind of the gap in the defense.
Molly's actually going to isolate half the team from the rest of them. They're going to be running through that Molotov. So much damage being inflicted from HellRaisers just off that one $600 investment. And now the superior firepower is coming to prominence. Bombs dropped out on site. Issa has no chance, and EnVyUs have picked up a 2-0. Only XMS falls in the process. Solid rounds. HellRaisers into an eco in this one.
Yeah, pretty well done by XMS, considering the fact that he was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, as he was kind of stranded from the rest of his team due to that heavy emphasis on the A bomb site that was going on. But nonetheless, EnVyUs get the job done. They're up 2-0. They have HellRaisers on what is essentially a full save. Do see one Deagle sprinkled in there onto Angel. One P250 on 0, but no utility, no armor behind this. It should be easy pickings. Again, EnVyUs looking to get forward position on A main, and they'll claim it with ease. So RPK will hold it down here with the MP9. And once again, denied even access to stepping in there.
Solid utility placement. EnVyUs so far able to stop HellRaisers from getting onto the site. There's only been 2 kills in the last 2 rounds, so EnVyUs are ticking their economy over nicely. They'll be hoping for more of the same in this one. Scream with the first. Angel laid out with his Deagle. This is where Sixer should strike with a FAMAS, runs out of bullets, but is able to get the double spray. Dead Fox has came in for a second one. Flat nade claims a kill onto Zero, landed plumb on his face. He nearly actually got the double from that nade. It was incredibly close to killing Dead Fox too. But it is going to be only a couple more kills going the way of HellRaisers. Of course, they have full AKs though coming into this round 4.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're going to have to figure out how to handle this aggression from EnVyUs, because from watching EnVyUs play with this 5, they love to play aggressive. I mean, they're either going to keep pushing a main like this, or you will see them do some like 1-3-1, where they have a lot of focus on middle, and they really try to actively deny you mid control, which is something HellRaisers obviously would love to have. And so they're going to have to find a response to the aggressive settings that EnVyUs will throw out there. They're going to boost one events from B, and they have Sixer pushed forward. Happy will back them up here from Z. So again, they're not going to get any space for free.
I do wonder if EnVyUs will continue to apply the pressure though. Now they know HellRaisers have a full rifle round. Maybe some respect is going to be given across. XMS, meanwhile, is just going to be hiding in Checkers. Close angle, just below the vents. Screams up in the vents itself. Angels claimed 1 kill onto Sixer in mid. And Happy's been mollied out of position. So Scream, I think his shoulder was just spotted for a brief second there by Angel. So he's going to have to be very careful. He's playing with fire.
Yeah, really well done by HellRaisers to pick off that mid push. Happy, though, from highway boxes, able to find the kill. And XMS is still tucked in here to Checkers. And it looks like they do want to do a B split. That bomb is in Sunroom. But they have spotted Scream. But again, they still don't know about XMS. He could still be the snake in the grass.
Now, Scream has fallen back, but it's onto the Checkers box. Now, unfortunately for HellRaisers, they're starting to run scarce on time. They don't have any Molotovs. So Scream's position could be incredibly powerful. Happy out and seemingly in the middle of nowhere. And it's going to be found out. XMS shuts down the B push, and now it's going to be forced onto A. That's going to be into the embracing arms of RPK. MP9 up close and personal, taken down in the back row from Angel, and that will afford them a bomb plant. And this round was looking pretty bad for a few moments for HellRaisers, but now it's doable. Step to the plate, Scream. He's already picked up one, and he's just tapped down Woxic to 22 health. I think he saw Zero as well, so he knows what the last 2 players are, but Zero is going to thread the eye of the needle. And Scream will be hit by the wayside. So HellRaisers have done it, but that was way too close towards the end.
Yeah, unfortunately for Scream, a little bit harder to hit those 1-taps with an M4, right? Need that extra bullet. He actually found a couple of dinks. If he had an AK, he would have won that. So definitely a little bit scary for HellRaisers. But they do get the job done. And again, that was just good mid-round reading by them. And particularly catching Happy, who had jumped over the counter boosts. I mean, catching that kill and then forcing RPK alone in A, an awkward space while, you know, the rotate wasn't really there for him from his teammates who were still really focused on B with all the vent play that was going on. And so it's HellRaisers just maneuvering around really well.
Worried me a little bit about that round though is if RPK on the site was able to get a kill before he fell down, it wasn't really his fault. He had multiple angles to cover,
right.
But if he does get a kill or two, that round is done. Like HellRaisers just didn't have enough time to recover. So yeah, they picked the round up, but it definitely wasn't filling me with a whole lot of confidence. I'm sure EnVyUs will realize they were very close to taking a 4-0 lead. However, they bounced back with an AWP in the hands of Sixer. Pretty solid buy, but they're already taking a bunch of damage from Squeaky. That Molotov is perfectly placed. It stops the charge out of Squeaky doors. It funnels the CTs into a position where the terrorists have to face them one by one. And they pick them apart. The reset comes in, and HellRaisers didn't even get a single kill out that round.
That is pretty crushing, isn't it? I mean, it's always risky when you funnel heavy numbers out of Squeaky door because you're basically putting all of your eggs in one basket. And the counter nades from EnVyUs, particularly that one incendiary that forced a lot of damage, kind of staggered HellRaisers out. They weren't able to get all 3 players outdoor together to actually trade into the site. And that really hurt them. And as you noted, they have been reset. They still have a bit of a buy going on here. However, they lose this, they'll be on to a full save. That's where EnVyUs can really rack up the rounds. But this is their one shot at trying to reset it right back as they're looking to knock on the door of that B bomb site. But they've been slowed down a bit. And they actually will once again shift off and try to maybe swing this thing around a different direction. So we do see Angel and Zero trying to make their way towards A main. Try to see if they can open up some extra options. Didn't like what they saw at the B lobby.
With this force, though, it does pile more pressure on HellRaisers to make something work out this round. Last time, or the round previous, when they actually won, it really came off the back of Angel getting boosted up and taking mid-control, getting himself a kill, piling on the pressure. They're not able to do that in this. They've only got the one AK-47. That's in the hands of Zero. Sure, they have the Eagles, but it's going to lack the same firepower. Angel has been boosted once more, however, but Sixer in connector may very well find his man. Time's pretty low as well, Dust, and they haven't really made any inroads into either side, so this could be a bloodbath.
The only good thing is that EnVyUs don't really have any information. I mean, you can see that they're actually a little bit of a bias towards the A side. They're just relying on X and S again to hold down B. Scream has rotated to Heaven, however, as the nades come in, and with the time the way it is, they know what's up. They'll be able to safely rotate. It's just about what can X and S do while everyone else is set in motion. As he's holding, a great flashbang comes in. He's going to be able to find the headshots here as he takes down Issa and Dead Fox, and everyone slides in from EnVyUs to the B side, and that's the end of it. So again, XMS handling his anchor duties quite well. The rest of his team chiming in right as they needed to.
Excellent usage of flashes there as well. It completely devastated HellRaisers. They had no vision. They had to dogpile in, and as soon as that happened, one flashbang after another, taking their vision away, allowing XMS to just hold down the fort, as he said. Did a great job at anchoring the site. Just the P250. HellRaisers already in quite a lot of trouble. This is their choice of map as well, by the way, so they'll be hoping that they can draw this one out and take the first blood in this best of 3. So far, so good for EnVyUs. Back to another slow round as well, where HellRaisers just hoping for the best, and well, Envy go for any aggressive plays. They're pretty B heavy, I have to say. It's really only RPK that's on A. Normally you'd have a player in highway itself for a quick rotation, but that's not really happening here.
Well, you know, on rounds like this, it's very common to do heavy squeaky door type plays or just like really fast A rushes, and so RPK just playing a retake A setup. I mean, you're basically maybe conceding a free bomb plan if they do in fact go A, but you kind of ensure that you're not going to fall prey to something gimmicky in a round like this. Like, you're still gonna have a good chance to make sure you at least get the retake and win the round, if not cut them off outright now that Happy's in a position like this.
To the open, Angel's going to connect a headshot with the P250. RPK will deny the bomb plan. Excellent work. Turret, like from a tank, and of course finishes off with the 1 dig. Scream picked up 3 assists, goes to show how much damage he did. Sure, RPK will pick up the accolades, but Scream definitely pulled his weight in the round. And you did see a rotation come through from EnVyUs as RPK actually got dinked on the truck, and it was looking pretty ominous for a few moments. They wanted to make sure that A didn't get completely pillaged. Either way, HellRaisers full AK purchase into this round, and I'm curious to see if they're going to mix up their style here, Dusk, because it does seem like they're just being totally countered.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see them setting up for something a bit faster. A couple towards door, 3 at A main. Looks like they're just going to try to do a fast A split. Sixer will actually be in the site by himself with an AWP, so this actually is pretty scary for EnVyUs. Happy also has an AWP. He's going to be at highway. He might be able to get vision on squeaky door if he's not smoked off. And Scream and RPK out in middle maybe have fast flanks, or he can come up highway quickly. But like I said, this could get really scary, but Happy isn't smoked off. He gets 1 kill and legs another. Sixer finishes it off.
XMS in the perfect time, justifying himself a stray Angel, a key talisman for HellRaisers. Many would say probably their best player right now, but it's Scream with the 2 M4A1S sprays, or taps I should say, definitely not sprays in his hands, to take the 7-1 lead. And well, HellRaisers just looking a bit flat here.
I mean, that's actually kind of criminal that there wasn't a smoke blocking highway vision. I mean, it's like almost the most standard smoke you ever throw on an A execute on cash, you know, banking it off the tarp from main and just making sure that highway's never going to have vision and the players crossing into the site. That wasn't even there. Again, Happy gets a free kill and a leg shot on the second player. And then, you know, you think, like, if you're rushing A and you cut off highway and you get to isolate an opper by himself in the site, that's almost your dream scenario in an A execute as a T team. They still couldn't weather the storm of it. You know, they lost the 2 opening picks to the 2 ops. I mean, it's a bit unforgivable if you're HellRaisers. I mean, that's kind of like the best case scenario, and you're not able to roll it out into a victory. And now you see the consequences.
Great news for EnVyUs too is the 2 players that are definitely catching my eye for performing very well is RPK and XMS, and they're both on opposite sides of the map. RPK is on A, XMS is on B. RPK is now switched to mid, and that spray is brutal. HellRaisers all running out. And RPK, the meat grinder, is going to put them down with another 4K. He's moved to 14-2, and we're just hitting around 10. Goes to show how dominant he's been so far.
Yeah, he's gotten 8 kills in 2 rounds, both in kind of anti-eco situations, so he's definitely been able to kind of mop up rounds that can sometimes be dangerous when you're up against the force. That's how HellRaisers will be onto a full buy. They have Woxic with the AWP. Dead Fox has been the primary op for this team for quite some time, but it'll be Woxic who's going to take a stab at it in this round, as he will be at A main with Angel. Happy, in the meantime, has picked off Zero lurking over at A, and Sixer pushes door and takes down Issa, so both peripheral players down. And an instant 5-on-3 for EnVyUs as it continues to pile on HellRaisers.
Again, aggression paying out dividends for Envy. Both AWPers going for aggressive peaks, both of them being rewarded, able to scamper off. Happy did lose a third of his health, but definitely a worthwhile trade, of course. And HellRaisers unable to get any kind of avenging frag into play. Happy holding the angle, could be coming around the corner, does spot himself Dead Fox, and in the meanwhile Angel gets picked out, and Happy with a flick. EnVyUs, a team that certainly has consistency issues, doesn't seem to be a problem right now. Everybody is firing on all cylinders. Nobody's lagging behind.
And meanwhile, no one's really stepping up for HellRaisers, if we're honest. I mean, we talked about the only round that HellRaisers had is off the back of Angel making a big play at middle, and he's definitely the top fragger, but, I mean, at 6 and 10, that's still really not the great. You never really had anyone between Woxic, Dead Fox, and Zero really step up. And the scariest thing is Zero's probably been the most consistent player for HellRaisers through most of his career on the team. He's always been kind of silently the one that was always kind of putting in his numbers. I mean, especially as a younger player from the region, he definitely really kind of, you know, caught my attention on the fact that he'd been so consistent. But lately he struggled, particularly in the majors, and he's really struggling in this game as well. To be fair, though, no one really is kind of up to the plate. 2 new bloods. I mean, this is kind of their opening games for HellRaisers, to be fair. I don't know how much time they've had together, so I can't harp on them too much. It is still a fresh lineup, but this is kind of steering on the side of just not even being competitive.
Because typically, one of the sort of caveats you'd say to a new lineup is, oh, well, the tactics probably aren't very good. They're probably still finding their way. Hasn't really been an issue. They've just been getting out-fragged. None of the duels have been going their way. No one's really been landing any opening picks. I mean, you've got 1 and 9 on Woxic. Dead Fox and Zero, both in just 2 kills. Issa's only got 3. This is after 10 rounds. No one other than Angel is really getting in amongst the fray and amongst the action. That's going to be a worrying sign as Sixer plucks out the pixel through the smoke and converts it, gets a second one as well. He's still on the site, not for too much longer. Here Zero finally puts the Tech 9 to use. But there was actually a Molotov kill that claims the life of a player, and how Happy's round the back of them to deny the bomb plant. HellRaisers will go out again, and another statistic to drop here. In 11 rounds, HellRaisers have not planted the bomb a single time.
Yeah, the one round that they got close to it was around that RPK had a quad kill kind of coming around the site. That round, they might have done it, but Happy able to swing around with the Tech 9. So they've had a couple of close calls, but unfortunately that just doesn't really amount to anything. Not only is the half not close, but yeah, like you said, if you can't even get a bomb planted, it's not looking too good. I say we'll have a full buy in this round again. Woxic will have the AWP, and they're definitely picking up the pace, and they get a great entry on the RPK up highway. This has been one of the best rounds I've seen them have, one of the best openings you could hope for, as Dead Fox gets another entry. And they're getting kills left, right, and center, it looks like, so this should be the one.
Yeah, it's hard to see how XMS can get this clutch. Woxic did die because Dead Fox was switching between his smoke and his AK, but it's going to be around all the same. Need to make sure they don't get reset, however. And because of the fact that we haven't seen that many kills really come in, EnVyUs have a bunch of money to fall back on. They can buy next round as well, even if they were to lose this. And would still be comfortable. Still 7.7k on RPK, over 8k on Scream. They're good to go. Now, HellRaisers, they pick up that round as a result of hyper-aggression through mid. I don't think EnVyUs will afford them that opportunity again.
It looks like HellRaisers are going to test the waters of B once more. Zero, the normal B lurk, going to be leading the charge with Dead Fox and a Woxic kind of backing him up. He will cross into checkers against Happy, gets the entry. Well done, RPK, though, from the vents. We'll get the quick trade back. Doesn't drop all the way down, though. Doesn't want to give up a free kill, but XMS caught peeking there by Woxic.
RPK and a bit of an unorthodox angle. Dead Fox wouldn't have expected that. Now his brain splattered all over the wall. However, HellRaisers still have a player advantage, and A-Site is very open. Six of those is making inroads up highway, going to be flashing in first. HellRaisers not taking anything for granted. I'm not sure if there's a player sneaking around on the site, but now that Six has been found, the pressure has stacked on RPK. He's been quite the man mountain, though, so far on this CT side, so wouldn't necessarily write him off here. Not quite able to get the double spray, but if that had connected, Woxic, that would have been a serious clenched butt scenario for him. However, EnVyUs, once again, will be in for a bye.
Yeah, the spray transfer was certainly almost there. I mean, he almost put it through, but not quite. And so HellRaisers, they've won a couple in a row. Maybe starting to find their footing here towards the end of the half, but they've already given up so much room. They have to kind of be flawless from this point forward to give themselves a comfortable chance of taking this map. As again, that double AWP setup is out in effect for EnVyUs. Happy with his towards B, Sixer anchoring A. HellRaisers will slow it back down, just go back into more of a default. They've been pretty good, in my opinion, throughout this half of like mid-round reading and making the right rotations. It's just the duels haven't been there for them, but the last couple of rounds they've had some pretty big entries from their key players. So if they can keep that up, they might still be able to make something out of this half.
Just over a minute to play with. Bomb still in garage. Zero's able to knock the kill out onto Happy. Wasn't expecting a player to be in Toxic, but XMS will at least get the kill back. However, he's lost 88 of his health, so he is very close to death. And now the noose is starting to tighten around this A site as Isa comes out with 2 entries. Massive. RPK, though, catches the smoke in the hands of Isa, but won't be able to stop the bomb plant. Dead Fox will take him up the equation, and XMS wants no part of this round. Whereas before their funds were good, they have now been depleted. They need to hold on to this AWP.
And they're starting to get some individual performances, aren't they? I mean, Dead Fox had the one big round up a highway at the end of the round. In this round, it's Issa getting a couple of big entries from Squeaky Door, really opening up that A-bomb site. And again, the reads have been there all half long, but now the frags are starting to set in for HellRaisers, and it's starting to allow them some success, and they'll get a 4th round out of it. So at least here towards the end of the half, they're showing us a little bit of life, but you have to wonder, was it a bit too late? If they can get 5 and win pistol second half, it won't be. But we'll just have to see how it plays out. As Envy still do have some money to spend.
Especially with that AWP saved, it does afford them some options. They're going to drop the AWP to Sixer. He's going to drop UMP, so they will be able to get a pretty healthy buy here, to be fair, all things considered. That's the power of saving the AWP. I have no doubts if that AWP doesn't get saved, it's likely pistols and armor, not much more. But it's going to be heavy mid-presence, and Scream with a double spray, helped out by Happy, is going to shut down this part of the map. Great start for EnVyUs. Good way of counteracting this mini comeback the HellRaisers have been putting down. Just got a whole lot better as well. Scream's picked up a 3rd. Woxic and Zero come back with kills of their own. I actually think that Zero just got AWP'd in the back from Woxic there. That's a little bit unfortunate. He's down to 24 health. Although they've made it onto the site, that's really only half the struggle because Woxic's been fouled from the M4. There's going to be Scream who picks up a 4K, and the half will end 11-4 in favor of Envy as they move across to the T side.
Yeah. HellRaisers were just a step behind the entire round. I mean, it started with them trying to go for a faster mid-play. You can't blame them because a lot of their successes come from being able to get entries up middle, and they were sending kind of two of their players that were the most responsible for them winning rounds off of highway pushes. It was, you know, Angel and Dead Fox again, but they were absolutely shut down by a good crossfire, and that set them way back. They just never recovered. And so that means that Envy will come up with one more before we transition sides, so it makes it 11-4, and you got to think, unless HellRaisers find a pistol here, this map is almost all but in the books.
Yeah, and it's, of course, again, it's HellRaisers' choice, so you have to think that EnVyUs going across into the second map of Nuke are going to be in pretty good shape. Over past the third if we need it. And of course, the winner of this plays G2, so it doesn't really get any easier. Such is the nature, though, of these qualifiers. It's pretty stacked. Of course, the bottom side of the bracket will see NiP playing big. That's the next best of three. And then to finish off for today, it's flip side against the major champions of Gambit. Although Gambit, of course, have gone through some changes of their own, so it's a lot of people, myself included, interested to see how these teams come out, really, with their new rosters.
Yeah, I mean, in thanks to Gambit, I mean, the firepower is still there, isn't it? I mean, the key pieces that were delivering the bulk of their frags, particularly Adren, and if you sprinkle in Hobbit, I mean, those are the two key players. And then the fact that Mo had, like, the performance of his life at the major, that has to, it's yet to be seen if that's repeatable. But I mean, the firepower is still there is the point. It's just about, will they still be able to steer the ship properly? You have to imagine that, like, a team just doesn't forget everything they knew when their in-game leader leaves, right? I mean, there's still remnants of the system they had put in place left behind that you can still follow until it kind of fades and you have to reinvent yourself. So I think that they'll be not too horribly burdened by it in the short term. Particularly in maybe like smaller things like this. Once you get to like big playoff runs and bigger tournaments, that's whenever maybe the pressure can kind of get to you about making adjustments and whatnot. But we'll find out that soon enough as we get into the pistol round of this game. Now, Scream and XMS have already made their way out of middle, perhaps to start challenging up highway or catch anyone deciding to push from Z connector.
Yeah, mid just offers so many options to a side. Obviously, you get highway, connector, and also vents at your disposal, should you want to choose either of those. But it seems that EnVyUs will follow in the same suit as HellRaisers and try and aggress on this A side. Just Isa is there at the back of quad. Going to be joined by Woxic now on the truck. Smoke's coming out. Free kill onto XMS. Angel reading the situation, making sure there was no flank through the highway side. This is going very well indeed for HellRaisers, only losing Isa. And a lot of that does come down to Angel, and also he gets the last kill, but it's that kill on XMS that is so important, stopping the flank from taking any kind of shape at all.
It's also, again, another situation where the smoke at highway wasn't really effective. I mean, HellRaisers made that mistake on their T-side one round, and it cost them, and this is no exception to that. Felt like they were able to get some free kills up highway onto the players trying to wrap around the site, and that really stacked the odds even more against EnVyUs, who were already having a tougher time, as they're going to try to do a little bit of a run boost here at B lobby. Completely fails, of course, and they've been spotted by Zero.
That should be the nail being hammered into the coffin. And indeed, EnVyUs will be swept aside. Might see something from Sixer, although of course he may very much have an eye on the AWP. He's got 3.4k, so he could go for a pistol if he so chooses, but would be surprised if we see him just hold off. Meanwhile, HellRaisers is going to be digging in, plucking up some more SMGs. Woxic with an MP7, Isa with the UMP, and only the one Deagle. It's actually in the hands of XMS.
I mean, this is exactly what the doctor ordered if you're a HellRaisers fan to get you back into this one, is to make sure you clean up the start of the second half, and they're well on their way to doing so, as this should be an even easier time, given that EnVyUs are working with mostly Glocks, just the one Deagle on XMS. They're going to try to flood out door, and again, it can be dangerous dealing with this if you're quad and you get cut off from your teammates, but there is no utility to stop Angel from getting vision as they come out, so they should be okay.
And you'll take some chip damage off the Glock, and it's XMS who's going to put the Deagle to use for 2 kills. Huge impact entries, allowing the bomb plant, but also allowing them to get some kind of momentum going in their way. Now, sure, there's an incendiary still, there's HEs flying on the site, one of which is going to claim Scream's life, so you still fancy HellRaisers to take this round, but considering there's only a Deagle invested into this, 2 kills so far and a bomb plant is solid work by EnVyUs. And it's actually a team kill, it's going to be Zero that takes out Woxic, leaving Happy in a Glock. All that remains, he's hoping it's a fake, but it's not. And that's going to be the round going to HellRaisers. But I've got to say, NT EnVyUs, that's really not a bad round at all, things considered.
Even they almost won the round off of essentially $700, right? The one Deagle off of XMS who got a couple of key kills and helped them get that bomb planted. It almost got real scary for HellRaisers, but luckily they do come out on top. It does force them to dip into their wallets a little bit earlier than maybe they hoped to. So that could come back to bite them in the long term, as we see Dead Fox eating up some damage there from Scream just going for the spam through the garage door. So just a little bit of free chipping away is given over there to Scream. As we do see EnVyUs opening up at their first gun round here, just taking things a bit patiently.
I think patient seems to be the operative words this round for Envy. They are sitting back into almost anti-eco positions, I should say. Other than XMS, who's already pushed his way up to the side. And he gets the entry onto Angel, unless he's scratching his head like, Isa, what are you watching, mate? Fair play to Isa, though. Comes back with 2 kills. Going to remedy the situation. Envy into a 4-on-2. It is Sixer and RPK that remain, however, and they are making a real push on the B side. RPK takes out Zero in the vents, able to get a second one. This round may be still alive. Maybe the tank has a few more things to say before the dust settles here. Like that he's not going to go out for the outright plant. He's still confident enough that he could just win this round. Going to be flashing onto the site, trying to draw away fire. They line up for him, and that was so nearly his to take. Unlucky. HellRaisers lose 4 players.
Liked what he was doing there. He's definitely making the right decisions. Definitely giving himself a chance. You know, throwing a little bit of a curveball at his opponent. Trying to bait things out. But it just didn't quite come to be. And so with that, HellRaisers, they've closed the gap in a big way. And they have a chance to even close it further in a round like this where EnVyUs are just relying on some upgraded pistols. Again, EnVyUs are going to be taking things a bit slowly. XMS goes back to spawn to buy another nade. They have a lot of Molotovs to blanket the B-bomb site with. Based on where they're lining up, I imagine they're looking to get into Sunroom and maybe just try to blanket the B-bomb site with fire, maybe push Zero out of position and try to give themselves a chance to get an entry. Also can use it to clear the close box, which is what XMS is going to use his for. And a pop flash is being lined up by Scream as well as Happy, and they're just going to try to flood in.
Flooding onto Zero, but the bomb's been dropped out. And that should be all she wrote. Dead Fox with another 2. That's spotted Happy, able to transfer the spray. And HellRaisers now making a real go of this map. Back to 11-9. EnVyUs with a bye. But so far, that's 5 rounds unanswered on the CT side. EnVyUs have been unable to crack and break the curse so far.
Yeah, kind of curious to see what EnVyUs are going to go for. This is really their second gun round. They have plenty of utility. They have full rifles, no AWP on Sixer, so leads me to believe they might maybe try to go for something a little bit faster paced. I mean, they love to do the 1-4 setups. They love to leave Happy kind of on his own and let the other 4 kind of group up and take something. That's kind of one of their favorite things to do. Looks like they're looking for mid-control. Mr. XMS has already made his way out. Been taken down by Dead Fox. Happy, quick to trade, but HellRaisers has been way more efficient in the exchange game, and now they have a 4-on-2 with the bomb down. In a dangerous position for EnVyUs.
RPK being aggressive. No huge surprise there. It's been so good, this map. 22-12. He hasn't slowed down since they've switched to the other half either, but his partner in crime this time around, Sixer, has died. And with it, bomb control goes with him. So RPK's been here before. Last time though, he had the bomb in a very different position. Also only 2 players instead of 3. Makes a huge amount of difference, of course. And to make matters worse, Zero is tunneled in on the checkers box, and RPK doesn't know what's just hit him. Headshot from 0, 6 rounds now, and only losing 2 players. Their economy is booming. They are in good shape. Match paused. I'm fairly confident this is EnVyUs saying, okay guys, let's try and figure out where we can switch something up and try and break HellRaisers down.
Yeah, I mean, imagine around like this, they're going to just kind of maybe buy a couple of upgraded pistols, maybe a small armor, probably little utility. Basically give themselves a chance to pose a threat, but make sure they don't hamstring themselves for the next round where they'll get max loss bonus and they'll be able to get like a full comfortable buy, maybe even including an AWP if they want one. At the very least, you know, full utility and rifles across the board. So I think this will be kind of a halfway approach round, which would lead me to believe that they would maybe do something a bit faster pace, like a squeaky door push with multiple numbers, or maybe some type of rush on the B bomb site. Just something that has a little bit more of an up-tempo to it while they focus in on the next round. And that's probably what they're really discussing. I'm curious to see what they go for, because I've already seen them like kind of switch things up. It used to be Happy lurking B and RPK door, but they've swapped. And now you see RPK outside B, so that's kind of an interesting move we've seen them make already. And we haven't really seen them go for any like the 1-4 aggressive play. They've actually kept it moderately slow for a team of their nature. So I'm kind of curious to see what adjustments they'll make in the next round. But as expected, this round is a bit limited.
As you say, they still have a round buffer. They can go through to 11-11 with rifles. Don't want to put everything into this one. XMS has died early doors. RPK, ooh, 0 wasn't far off, actually, just pulling the trigger and wrecking him through the smoke. RPK gave his position away, and that's all that 0 needed. He did get dinked in the process, though, down to 15. And now the bomb's going to start to make a move through. Happy's on the lurk in Squeaky. No huge surprises there. And he's going to come out round the back of the CT. He's able to get 1 kill, but that's pretty much all that HellRaisers are going to lose. And 11-11 will be the score. EnVyUs have enough for a solid buy, including an AWP. I expect to see Sixer pick that up.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them just group up and take something together in a round like that where you just have pistols. I don't think Happy lurking in that round does any bit of good, and that's one of the reasons why he gets critiqued as a lurker, is because it feels like he lurks in situations where it's just not useful. Or if you're going to lurk, you need to do more with it, like actually create a rotation. So, I mean, there was really no hope in that round the way they played it to even get a bomb plant. So kind of a wasted round, so to speak, but luckily it didn't really matter. They didn't really buy too much into it. This is the round that really matters, and you'd imagine they would take it a bit slower now that Sixer has an AWP, give him a chance to see if he can't work a pick, though he's actually just holding for a B push. He's not actually really engaging anything. They're really focused more on getting Scream out in the middle with this AK and seeing what openings he might be able to find.
Yeah, I completely agree with the point you made as well about Happy's lurking sometimes just seeming so inefficient, you know, like maybe play with a door or something there. Try and keep HellRaisers caught in 2 minds, maybe try and get a rotation from the B site, but it's all in the past, of course. It does seem to happen a lot, though.
Yep.
It's all well and good getting a kill. Doesn't really mean a great deal in the grand scheme of things, especially as HellRaisers have such a good economic situation now. 45 seconds left. And half the round has came and gone. And that time is going to quickly disperse. EnVyUs need to get on top of this. They need to start making some plays. They're going to be heading onto the B site. Already RPK's onto B itself. He's about to get the sideswipe onto Woxic. Must be wondering what the hell just happened. How's RPK got there? RPK's going to pick up a third. And he continues to stride forward. Forget a tank. He's a howitzer at this point. He's pummeling HellRaisers. They can't do anything about it. And there's a fourth as well. Excellent work by RPK. One of the old hands in Counter-Strike. Sixer's trying his best to avoid the shots, and finally Happy will be on the flank. But again, take over RPK. That was all you.
Yeah, when RPK is feeling that kind of form, when he's in that sort of rhythm, he can definitely be a scary factor to deal with. It's good to see him shining right now. He's kind of even been like the reliable guy for a while, right? Like even when G2 were having their big summer run this year, when he was still on that team, even though he wasn't the star, it was like the Screaming Shocks, though. He was like that consistent third factor that was always, you know, grinding out the numbers for you. And that's why he can still be very useful. I mean, I feel like this EnVyUs team should really be more based around like what XMS and Scream can do. But if RPK can step up like that, then hell, let him go. I mean, every now and then he'll have games like that where he can just take control, and he's really helped EnVyUs hold off HellRaisers in that round. Solo effort to the max. Keeps them ahead. As we do see them slow down the pace here once more, just kind of spreading the map.
As a result of the constant AWPs that have been coming into play, HellRaisers now have spent a lot of their funds, to be fair. I mean, there's 2 players that are below $1,000 now. Scream with a headshot. Wouldn't expect anything else from him. And it's going to be Angel, who is going to play no further part in this round. Great start for EnVyUs once again. Although Scream did lose a bunch of health, XMS down to around 50. It's definitely not going to be clear-cut from this point on. And time is starting to become a factor as well. EnVyUs need to get a move on. Going to be A, it would seem. Happy up on the boost now. Has spotted himself. Zero will not expect his second player to be down to his left. Decides to play it safe rather than sorry. Sixer flicks onto Issa at the back of the site. We'll see. Dead Fox all by his lonesome with the AWP. It's actually an M4, pardon me. It's actually Woxic. I'm so confused right now. It's Dead Fox who's over on the B side.
That's okay,
and that
man.
suggests it's going to be safe. It's weird because Woxic's been typically playing on the B side of the map, so I assumed it was him over on B and Dead Fox on A, but rip. Trashcaster confirmed. This round's done.
You've been demoted from Budget Anders to Landfill Anders. I was going to say Landfill Anders.
Landfill Anders. Has a certain ring to it, I like it.
Deployment on Metis, of course, doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, screw that Metis guy. HellRaisers, are they able to get a buy? They are. As a result of the save, they're going to be able to get a buy, but Woxic, I think, is going to get the raw end of the stick. He's only got 2.5k. So UMP in his hands instead.
I like that cheeky insult you had on me, though. Like you demoted yourself to me. That was pretty well done.
Bodied.
Yeah.
Just the one kit in the hands of Dead Fox, and he's already been put down to 6. He's playing a dangerous game as well, crossing garage there. Already 2 smokes thrown out. Only 1 left for HellRaisers with over 1:20. I mean, is this the moment where HellRaisers buckled us? Is this ultimately do or die for them?
Yeah, I'm not... That's not really what you want to see with an incendiary grenade.
Straight into the smoke, of course. Sound.
Definitely not a waste of money.
Especially when you don't have that many nades to play with in the first place. Definitely want to make each of them count.
I mean, EnVyUs knows it's aggressive middle and there was multiple. So, I mean, they have the information to work with now. Good on HellRaisers to at least get back in the position at the B bomb side. It was a little bit dicey there for a moment. There was a little bit of a window, but it's been closed now. They'll have the defenses in place.
Oh, Woxic needs to do better. An XMS with a second. I've got to say, I don't want to just like pick on a player, but Woxic is really not been too impressive for me, Dust. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but just he's been struggling. I think it's safe to say.
That's fair enough. Can't really argue against that. It's also just crazy that XMS is that successful. Coming up the ramp on a B entry is actually probably the worst way to do it because you have so many more angles you have to worry about. Like, you have to worry about your tight left on the silos. You have to worry about headshot angle. Have to worry about someone playing default box. It forces you to make a 180, right? Whereas if you push forward more and you clear headshot angle with the smoke on CT, you only have to point one direction with your crosshair the entire time, right? You never have to worry about flicking back and forth and being caught off guard. XMS does it the hard way and still makes it work. He gets both entries, including making a 180 headshot on the guy headshot angle. So it's just kind of nuts that, you know, he played on hard mode and he still conquered it with no problem.
Well, match pause now once again. This time I'm sure it's from HellRaisers. Can't quite see who called the pause, to be fair, but would make sense in this kind of scenario. They have the funds to afford some weapons, but it's going to be such a poor buy. A lot of teams would force here because they don't want to get the 15th round for their adversary, but at the same time, CT side, I feel like you want more weapons, maybe pistols, and just play for the draw or the overtime. It's a hard decision, I think.
I mean, you're going to get a decent amount of money in the next round. I mean, it's not max, but what, 2,900? So you certainly could at least afford some like 250s or something like that in this round and still be able to buy next. So you could shave a little bit off the top and make a little bit of something here, but yeah. I mean, it just comes down to whether or not you just want to force up all you can here. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you could still go, you know, UMP armor on a lot of these guys and still maybe have like a flash or two to play off of as well. So you could put together something a bit formidable in a round like this with the money that they have.
And typically the point is around 2k, where you can feasibly afford like a half-decent buy in the next round. Angel's dipped below that. He's on 1,600 right now. 1,700 for both Zero and Issa, and I don't know, they're going to go for aggression that nearly cost Woxic his life. He has a CZ, but nothing else behind it. Out in the open is Dead Fox, and Happy will oblige with the headshot. Already B presence will be felt by HellRaisers. This is the kind of situation where running into CZs isn't always the greatest of ideas, but HellRaisers do the running out into the open. And Scream is going to gobble up those kills all the time. Nisa with a kill onto XMS, unable to get a second. It's now B control is being established. Scream's already there. Surprisingly, Sixer hasn't moved through with the AWP and the bomb just yet. That's allowing the CTs to try and get a couple more cracks at the potential bomb site. Finally get on the site themselves, though, EnVyUs. Get the bomb planted. And that surely is the round done.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be map point for EnVyUs, no question about that. As they're able to efficiently handle these CZs over at the B side, and Scream will actually add a little bit of extra icing on the cake with the quad kill for himself. And so EnVyUs just one round away from taking cash from HellRaisers. And moving on to map number 2, which I believe is Nuke.
Yep.
With the 1-0 lead, so it's certainly good news if you're a French fan in that regard. But we'll see what HellRaisers can do is they will have a full buy in this round. M4s across the board, decent utility, a couple of kits spread out, so they have about all they could ask for. Now it's just about putting it to proper use. They're going to see EnVyUs looking for mid-control once more. A lot of utility behind it, and they do a lot of early damage to Dead Fox. Now he's trapped at sandbags.
Yeah, has to throw the smoke at himself to make sure he doesn't get burnt alive. The bomb's been dropped in a horrible spot, and Angel and Issa both claim kills. So HellRaisers aren't out of this just yet. XMS has given his position away in Vent. He's trying to tap down below him just to make sure he didn't get wrecked from below, but unfortunately still did anyway. The economy for EnVyUs is really quite strong. They're okay, even if Sixer doesn't save this AWP, they have more than enough funds to get another one if they so choose. So he doesn't have to save, but better to play safe rather than sorry when you're up against 5 players. And he'll probably be hoping that the CTs throw a few of their bodies at him, to be fair, so he can get some exit frags. Because that could really hurt HellRaisers. They have no one over $1,000 at the moment. They can't afford to throw away any weapons here.
And they won't. They'll just kind of stay in a holding pattern for now. Maybe you'll see 1 or 2 give chase. Not really sure. Sixer moving up close here with the 250 into mid-garage. Let's hear some running around. One does get boosted up, so he might get flanked from behind here in just a second.
It's almost that scenario where they just tell Sixer, sort of unleash him and say, go kill as many people as you can before the end of the rounds. Now, at least he didn't die after time, so it's going to allow him a little bit more. You can see he's got 12k, so he's good to go here. You're going to drop an AK for our PK. And again, I assume an AWP. Although the AWP hasn't had a huge amount of impact, but of course you always want to have it in your back pocket just for the off chance that it will come to fruition.
Yeah, just well played by HellRaisers in that round. Almost a teammates. It felt like just like a lot of focus was on EnVyUs to get Dead Fox down. Like Scream spotted him, did damage. They spent the Molotov trying to flush him out. It didn't work. Angel bails him out from Highway. Gets some help from Issa as well. So just well handled by HellRaisers, because that can always be tough when one of your players basically gets isolated and trapped and they have no way out and you're forced to come try to be the rescue force. And they made it happen, and they get a 12th round. They're 3 away from forcing an overtime here. As you noted, though, EnVyUs still have plenty of money. It's HellRaisers who can't afford any more mistakes. And Scream is once again boosted up. Dead Fox again at the sandbag, so a very similar scenario to the previous round, really.
They're pretty identical in terms of positions. Oh, first kill though is going to go the way of RPK. Gets traded out. Boxic for RPK, I would definitely say, is a worthwhile trade. However, elsewhere, Dead Fox has gone on to Scream. So, although this started really well for EnVyUs, things are starting to get a little bit sketchy. The arduous task of trying to take A is on the horizon. EnVyUs only have 35 seconds now to make that work. It is going to be a 3v2 on the site, however. Angel, he's going to be good for any kills. No, he's gone down, and so has Issa. This is quickly shifting back in favor of the Frenchman. Now XMS and Happy are going to be boosting their way to a potential victory here on Cash. AK and M4. There is a kit and only a smoke to play with. Dead Fox just about going to survive as a result of Happy ducking down. The timing doesn't really play out for Envy, but they've got a double stack now, going to watch either side. XMS pokes out for one, and Happy's going to take down the other. And EnVyUs have done it. They're going to claim the first map. The choice of HellRaisers, 16-12.
Yeah, so I mean, this game followed a very similar pattern to what we saw on G2 versus Pride, which is, you know, EnVyUs coming up with a really big lead. HellRaisers still working really well to close the gap, but in the end, it not being enough to actually surpass their opponent as EnVyUs holds on and takes the map. So at least the score became more respectable, but EnVyUs never really lost control of the game for too long. And so they'll move on to Nuke with the 1-map advantage.
And I feel like Nuke is one of the most rough maps if you're a new lineup in terms of tactics. Like, if you haven't been together for long, I think that's going to be a really punishing affair. So, not just the fact it's EnVyUs' choice of map, I think this will actually favor EnVyUs pretty strong. It's kind of a similar situation to the G2 match where if Pride lose the first map going through into Cobblestone, you expect it to be kind of a wreckage job, you know? And I think we may see more of the same here from EnVyUs. Doesn't bode well for HellRaisers.
Yeah, I mean, EnVyUs has been pretty good on Nuke as well. It's been one of their most played maps in an online setting, and it's been one of their more successful ones. Haven't said the same for their offline play, but last I checked, this was not offline. Definitely a rough debut for the new guys for HellRaisers, no questions about that. Hopefully they'll be able to recover this next map, otherwise they will find themselves taking an early exit in this qualifier, and perhaps EnVyUs moving on to playing G2 tomorrow, an all-French affair, unless HellRaisers can step it up in this next map.
Absolutely, guys. So we're going to head to a break. We'll be back in about 6 minutes for map 2, which will be Nuke in this best of 3. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.